Hi everybody, happy Independent Bookstore Day from Katie. I'm so sorry I can't be there at the store to celebrate today. It's one of my favorite days to work at the bookstore usually. And I want to thank all of you for your support and everything. But I'm going to try to make this short, so here I go into my top 5 picks for right now. I apologize, I don't have a hard copy of this one. This is Girl 11 by Amy Suter Clark. If you know me, you know that I love thrillers almost as much as Andy. I don't know, we kind of tie for the thriller love. So Girl 11 is about a woman named Elle. She's a former social worker. She worked with young victims of violent crimes. And now she is a true crime podcaster, which also is another thing I love other than just books. I love true crime and podcasts. So Elle is on I think it's her second or third season. Her podcast has really taken off. She decides to focus on the Countdown Killer. Now, the Countdown Killer has not been active for over 20 years. The police believe that he is dead. Elle doesn't quite believe that. So the Countdown Killer is famous because he would take 3 girls within 7 days, and then he would murder them, and each girl would be a year younger than the previous one. His last victim that he took was 11. So he hasn't been active in 20 years, but as Elle starts her podcast and as she starts to delve into the past, he either reawakens or a copycat killer reawakens. And so it's very intense. It definitely kept me flipping the pages. And it's it goes between what's happening in Elle's life, and then it also has bits of the podcast that she's working on, which is a great way to format the book, and I really enjoyed that. So Amy Suter Clark, Girl 11, definitely a great thriller if you're looking for something to completely sweep you away. And if you like murder, which I do. Next up is Stranger Things. It's a graphic novel called Science Camp. It's by Jody Houser, and she's written a couple of these. I love Dustin. Dustin is my favorite character from Stranger Things, maybe tied with Steve. So I also love the Dustin and Steve combo. But this one focuses on Dustin's summer at science camp when he was away from the rest of the boys in 11, and where he meets his girlfriend Susie. And this is great. It starts out kind of as a slasher, like a 1980s typical slasher, and then it kind of delves into a bit of the Scooby-Doo gang kind of vibe. And it's just delightful. It's fun. The graphics are fantastic, and you really get to see Dustin shine in this. And again, I'm just a huge fan of Dustin. And if you are jonesing from some Stranger Things, this comes out really soon. I'm actually currently reading another graphic novel that'll be out this fall about Stranger Things and Dungeons and Dragons, also by Jody Houser, which focuses on the boys coming together to play Dungeons and Dragons. And it's just a lot of fun. I really like these. It's perfect because we have a year wait, like almost a year for the next season. So I think the graphic novels and the novels that are based on Stranger Things, they're a lot of fun, and they really feel true to the characters and the story of Stranger Things, which doesn't always happen when they make books and graphic novels out of popular TV shows. But these absolutely work. Cannot recommend this enough. Okay, so one of my favorite books, probably of the year so far, is Dial A For Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutanto. She, I think, has a lot of books coming out, but this one comes out, I think, next week. Comes out very soon, which is why I don't have a physical copy of it. So Medi is the main character of this. She's the daughter of a Chinese-Indonesian family, and they live in California. So she's being raised by her mom and three of her aunts, and she's kind of the only kid that stayed home. All of the other aunts' children have left, and they're doing their own thing, and it's kind of up to Meddy to stay at home and help her aunts in their wedding planning business. I apologize. And she enjoys it, but she kind of longs to break out on her own. Her mom and her aunts are very meddling in her dating life because Meddy is single, and they're forever trying to hook her up with people. So her mom basically catfishes someone by pretending to be Meddy and sets them up on a date, which Meddy goes on the date and it ends disastrously. And then the book takes a veer into Weekend at Bernie's. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that film, but that is a film that deals with two young men hiding the fact that their boss has died by pretending that he's still alive and just hanging out with his corpse for the weekend. And so this book does something similar. There's murder and mystery, but it's also romantic and it's very funny. I don't know how she pulled it off because those are not things that you would think that would automatically go together. So it's got kind of a cozy mystery vibe, but the danger is a little bit more real, and it's really funny, and it manages to be lighthearted even though there's dead bodies and murder plots, and Meddy is just trying to get through it, and then she runs into her first love, her only true love, and everything is just it's fantastic. I loved this. I could have read a million more of these. If she wanted to make this into some kind of series, I would totally be here for it. I really loved this. It's fun. It's the perfect read probably for the summer. So definitely look for this book. It's amazing. Okay, so I mentioned Weekend in Bernie's, which brings me to my next book, Brat, an 80s story by Andrew McCarthy. He was, of course, in Weekend at Bernie's. I love the Brat Pack. I was born in 1977, so I grew up on the 80s movies because I had older brothers, and so I watched them at a very young age. And Andrew McCarthy was definitely my favorite Brat Packer. I think Rob Lowe was just too attractive. He made me nervous. He was so attractive. And Judd Nelson was too intense, and his nostril game scared me. And Emilio Estevez didn't really. I was probably more into Charlie Sheen. But Andrew McCarthy was kind of perfect. He had those beautiful blue eyes that are kind of Disney princess-ish. You know, they're just beautiful. And I loved the characters that he played. Probably St. Elmo's Fire, his character from that, Kevin, the tortured writer who is in love with his best friend's girlfriend. And then, of course, Pretty in Pink. And my favorite movie by him is probably Less Than Zero, and he did not really enjoy that movie. And what I like about this is Andrew McCarthy, he knew fairly early on he wanted to be an actor, but he's not a Hollywood type person. He was incredibly shy, and he would often kind of adopt this attitude of not caring in order to cover up the fact that he was so shy. And even though he was a member of the Brat Pack, he didn't really fit in with them. And it's kind of, he talks about that in the fact that he talks about how like the Brat Pack was born, and it was from a wild night out with Emilio Estevez, Judd Nelson, and Rob Lowe. And they kind of actually made fun of Andrew McCarthy when they were interviewed, but somehow started with the Brat Pack label, and everybody that was in any of those movies got hit with that. And at the time, you know, we kind of think of the Brat Pack as being this like magical group of actors because the movies were so great and they've lasted. But at the time, it was not a nice moniker, and it made it very difficult for the actors to continue. But Andrew, he just talks about, this is basically just covers the 80s. He doesn't talk anything beyond 1989. So he talks about the movies he was in. He talks about how he fell into some of the roles. And it's really interesting, like some of the decisions he made. Like he talks about Mannequin, which I forgot how much I loved that movie until I read this. And he wears bowling shoes in that movie because a friend of his would wear bowling shoes. And he would kind of borrow things from other people in order to create a character. He also talks about his alcoholism. He got into heavy drinking in the 80s, also to cover up how shy he was. And although there are a lot of famous people that pop up in here, Andrew McCarthy is not a huge Hollywood person. So this is more about him and his experience of acting and what led him to make some of his decisions. And it's also about his family. He had a very complicated family dynamic as he was breaking into acting. And I really love it. I definitely recommend this in audio from Libro FM because Andrew reads it himself, and I did listen to it. And this comes out very soon. But it's wonderful. It's nostalgic. It's 80s. I love all things 80s. And it's not what you expect. And I really love Andrew McCarthy probably more now for reading this. And the fact that he's not what you would expect as an actor. So totally recommending this. This would make a great gift for the Brat Pack lover in your life as well. But treat yourself. I definitely recommend the audio though. Because it's just a much better experience when you get to have Andrew McCarthy read you his story. And so that's it. Oh, no, I have one more. Sorry. Oops, almost forgot. 5 books. This one is The Gilded Ones by Naimina Forna. We read this for our book club, for our young adult book club, Fountain of Youth. And I just love this. We picked it, I swear, because of the cover was so gorgeous. Unfortunately, the book actually turns out to be amazing. So the main character is Deka. She is 16 years old when the book opens, and it is about to be the blood ceremony where the young women, the 16-year-olds, are cut and to see what color their blood is. Of course, red is good, but if you bleed gold, that is considered impure. And that is not a good thing. Deka ends up, of course, bleeding gold. And she is tortured by her villagers. This is a terrible, terrible thing. She cannot die. They try many times to kill her. And there's something about her blood that makes her different. And then she is given an opportunity by this woman who she calls White Hands, who offers her the chance to join an army of young girls who also bleed gold, or that she can stay in the village and be bled by the villagers who hate her, but find that her gold blood is actually worth something. So, of course, Deka takes the chance to join the army. And it's really great. It's very feminist. It's very, I don't know. It's so wonderful. And I'm going to, something that we all loved, there is a map in the book. I don't know if you love a map, but if you love a map, this is a fantastic book for that. I actually, as Deka travels, I was able to track it, and I kind of love that. This is the first book in the Deathless series, so you're definitely going to get addicted to this and be very upset that the next one doesn't come out for a while. It's just, the mythology behind it is really great. The world building is fantastic. The characters are just really compelling. So this is young adult. Definitely, if you're an adult who loves young adult, this is perfect. It doesn't read young. It's just really great. So it does, this is the time where like the cover matches what's inside. Book club really loved it, and it's definitely also one of my favorites of the year so far. I'm excited. And that is all, guys. finally. Sorry. Thank you so much for listening to me talk about books. I could probably do it for another 20 hours, but Kelly won't let me. So, happy Independent Bookstore Day. Bye.